dream doesn't become a reality through magic. It takes sweat, hard work, and determination. These are the words of a great man, Colin Powell, the former Secretary of State from the United States. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, dignitaries, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering how I made it to this stage. We don't have anything in connection, but there's one thing that we have in connection. And I think I have walked through every tea bush or most of the tea country in this country, hiking, climbing, and following my dream of adventure. But we have something else in common. We have a dream to succeed. We have the tenacity and the resilience. I'm sure industry, all of you, have been through a tough time through COVID, like everyone else did in this country. Every industry, every individual, not only in our country, but everywhere around the world, we went through a hard time. And then, of course, followed our whole economic downturn. But through that, the industry has held their head high and moved forward, and still moving forward, to keep our flag flying. Sri Lanka as one of the #1 tea producers in the world, as you heard before from all the other speakers. For me, I'd like to share my little story, my journey, and I'm sure you can draw parallels as we go along. As to the hardships that we have faced, I faced, climbing mountains and following my dream. Climbing Mount Everest wasn't a dream of mine, not a childhood dream. It was something that came on much later. I started my climbing career when I was small, when I was in school with my father, who used to take me and go climbing all the mountains around the country. We used to find different paths, we used to find places that people hadn't gone, we used to take on the challenge, and we used to go and explore different areas. And that's why I said I have walked through most of the tea country in Sri Lanka. And then in 2012, we happened to climb another mountain in Nepal, which is very close to the Everest, called Island Peak. And Jayanti and I set off on this expedition. And we saw Mount Everest for the first time. And then I remember her asking me, she calls me Yo, and she said, Yo, do you think we could actually climb Mount Everest? And I didn't ever think that 4 years later, we would actually be attempting it. But we did come back, and we researched. We found out nobody had ever attempted it from Sri Lanka, so it was a huge challenge for us. We didn't know how to do it. We didn't know where to start. We didn't know what to expect. And coming from an island, we didn't have the facilities. We didn't have the altitudes that you go to. Our mountain here is Pidurutalaga, the highest, which is 8,100 feet. Everest is 30,000 feet. Was it even possible for us to get there? But we did. It was a hard journey from the very beginning. We pushed through. And I remember people actually did laugh at us. They looked at the two of us. I'm sure some of you must have thought that there was this big hulking man who was coming to give a speech here. But I'm just an ordinary guy. And I'm fairly normally built. And if you see Jayanti, she's only this height. She comes up to my shoulder. And when we went around to the corporates, when we started doing our rounds, collecting funds, going and meeting sponsors, some people didn't even want to meet us because they thought, this is crazy. The two of you actually think you can do it? But we didn't give up. We pushed, and we finally set off on our journey in 2016. Of course, it's a 2-month-long journey. We went on it. And after the 2 months, on the final stage, I was only 400 meters away from the summit. Just 400 meters, I could almost touch the summit in front of me. Physically, nothing wrong. I'm waiting to get there. And I was told that I had to turn back by my Sherpa guide because there wasn't enough oxygen. I was running out of oxygen in my tank. They had actually made a mistake and put a wrong tank on me. When they did the switch of the tanks, they had actually switched and put a half-inch tank on me. And you know, at that time, we had gone through so much. We had been through so much. We had gone through so many tough difficulties to get to where we had got to. My first instinct was, I don't care. Even if I lose my life, I'll sacrifice my life, but I want to get there and fulfill my dream. And I did. I started moving forward. And my guide came and stopped me and pleaded with me and stopped me and got somebody on radio to try and convince me to turn back because he said, you know, go forward. I had enough oxygen to get to the top, but I couldn't come back. I wouldn't have made it back. A while later, I decided I needed to take some time and sat down. I thought about it. And then I realized that life was more important than anything else that we do. Completely devastated, I made the decision of turning back. I'm sure all of you face situations like that in the mountains that you climb, in your day-to-day life, in your work. And this was my mountain, this was my challenge that I was facing, and I had to turn back. But of course, we came back and we decided that this was a victory of ours together because we went as a team. It's like the cricket team who goes to play a game. And even if one player fails, the team wins, and it's a team victory. So we came back, and we didn't know what to expect when we came back, but there was the press at the airport, the Prime Minister was there. And the first question they asked me was, will you go back? And my answer was never. Because I knew the difficulties that I had been through, the hardships that I had gone through. I actually walked over dead bodies. I saw people dying in front of me. I spoke to a guy who asked me to help him and he passed away. So mentally, I was completely broken, not only by seeing all that, but also because I felt I had failed in a way, personally. But time went by, and then I decided, I can't live with this. This is going to be something that's going to hang over my shoulder as I move on in life. So I started the whole process all over again and started training and made the decision to go back 2 years later. And one of my then trainers, who's here in the audience today, he's in the tea industry, was one of my trainers, Kevin, started the whole process again. And I was determined this time because I knew what I had to do better, how I had to improve myself to make this easier for me. Don't get me wrong, it's not an easy task to go up there a second time, even though I had been there once. But I went back, and in 2018, I was able to successfully summit on the 22nd of May. And you know, standing up there, I realized that there is a time and place for everything. You know, there's a time for us to rise, there's a time for us to shine. We Sri Lankans believe that there is a time for everything. In Sinhalese, they say, ape velawa. And I believe that this was my time. The pictures you're seeing are the pictures from the top of Mount Everest. That day happened to be the best day that they had had in 16 years. There was no clouds. I could literally see, as I would call it, to eternity. And then suddenly I looked and I thought, am I hallucinating? Is this a lack of oxygen? Because I was seeing the horizon, but the horizon wasn't straight. It was curved. And then I realized that I was seeing the curvature of the earth. And at that point I realized that I was the highest person on the earth. And that really put things into perspective. And it's really hard to put these into words, the feeling, what it was. People ask me, what was it like to be up there? But it's something you cannot put into words. You only relive it through your thoughts. And I was able to come back, and I think even worse, it was a real humbling process. People say that we conquered the mountain, but we personally don't use that phrase conquered, because it is hard for us to conquer nature. Nature is too big, it's too vast. So we always say we summit the mountain. And for me, the whole process was a humbling process, where it made me realize how small we are, how little we are in this world. But if we are determined, and if we have the perseverance and the courage to push forward, I'm sure we can achieve everything we want to achieve in life. My lesson through that was, don't give up. Even through failures, use them as stepping stones for success and move forward. And of course, now everyone keeps asking me, what next? You've done Everest. What happens after that? So even for all of you, I think we keep going forward, moving on, taking on other challenges as well. So I have taken on the challenge of doing the 7 summits, which is climbing the highest mountain in every continent, which has been done only by 350 people in the world, which is a minute, when you take it as a percentage, it's a minute percentage. I have already attempted 6 of them. I have 1 more to go, and I have to repeat 2 of them because I was not able to go due to bad weather. On the last day, once again, I had to turn back. So we keep facing these challenges over and over again. But do we turn back? Do we give up? I think we should push forward in everything that we do. Look up, keep your head above the water and move forward. So I will be leaving at the end of this year to take on the challenge of doing the final summit, which is Antarctica. And I will be repeating the one in South America and the one in North America again. And hopefully, I will be maybe the 351st person in the world. So my message to you today is, don't give up. Move forward. Yes, life will throw challenges at us all the time. Every day we'll have challenges that come our way in whatever we do. But if we have the strength, the determination, and the courage, we can push through and we can be victorious in every situation. So I'd like to wish all of you the strength, courage, and determination to push through. Every mountain that you face, climb it with strength and with focus. Do not lose your focus, and you will be victorious in everything that you do. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.